What we are seeing here is the dismantled pieces of the dashboard and the steering wheel, which we had to do in order to extract the HVAC box and replace the heater core and the evaporator. You can see the steering wheel here. Steering wheel shaft it actually ends on a castellated shaft that fits into a female coupling inside the car, and it's adjusted with a 1 bolt. That's basically how it connects to the steering shaft, and this is the adjuster for the height of the steering wheel, and also has a bracket with 2 bolts which are in the car and are adjusted with these nuts. The main bolt that holds the clamp in the car, which actually hold on to the female component of the coupling is in the car, is actually secure with this bolt. This is the dashboard, frame and all the components, most of the components as it looks like after we've taken it out. The frame, as you see, is mounted into the firewall through these brackets, and there's bolts which secure them at the top, and I will show them later. This is the airbag, which always you have to handle with care. Even though everything is disconnected, we don't want that to deploy. And this is the area where the steering wheel fits through, and up here is where the instrument panel will actually connect with these two main connectors there, and there's the instrument panel, and this is the plastic panel that goes on top. And as you can see, we have labeled some of the components with screws and nuts as we need, because usually so many different screws are fairly difficult to find when you if you don't have them labeled or separate. This is the evaporator that was replaced. The evaporator sits inside the HVAC box that we saw before. As you can see, there is like a fluoro coloring or discoloring coming out. The evaporator is just a radiator where which the air conditioning system uses to convert and transfer the cold of the refrigerant into and circulates through this kind of radiator, and the blower motor inside the HVAC will blow air through the radiator, this will be fairly cold, and it comes into your cabin, cooling your environment in your inside the car. But as you can see, there is gas flowing through these, so there's been a leak. So at some point in time, the air conditioning people would have actually tested and injected a fluoro dye to see where the leak was, and you can see there the concentration of the dye, and that's telling us that most likely the leak is somewhere there. The evaporator has an inlet and an outlet port, As you can see, there's dye in there still. And it just sits in the hatchback, just like that. Okay, now we'll have a look at the HVAC already installed in the vehicle to have an idea and perspective where we're at. You can see the HVAC box already installed. And just for the record, this is a right hand side Jeep XJ 98. Probably most of you will have a left hand side vehicle, but the principle is the same, and the location of the HVAC is reversed in the United States or in a left hand drive vehicle. So you will see that we have the steering wheel on the right, but the HVAC on the left. In your case, in the US, will be the steering wheel on the left, your HVAC on the right. But the principle is exactly the same. The HVAC needs to be pulled out from there and is held by 5 bolts, which you undo from the firewall in the engine bay, and the HVAC basically pulls away. Again, this is the HVAC box. We saw when it was dismantled. It's got about 14 small bolts all around. They need to be, once it's removed, needs to be pulled apart so you can access the, in these locations will be the evaporator and your heat core. They're pretty much inside, sit side by side, separated by a plastic divider. When you take out the box, you need to remember or mark the location of these vacuum pumps, because each blend door, you can see these blend doors here, okay, they're actuated by these vacuum pumps. This allow you to transfer the heat and cold into your cabin. There's another vacuum pump, opens another blend door which is underneath, etc, etc. And this is the hole where the steering wheel sits. Just want to keep it lined up, right, and that's where the bolt adjusts to. What you have to be careful, and you probably need somebody to give you a hand, is to make sure when we put back the dashboard that we have all the connectors marked. So you will mark that one, to be able to put them in the right places. Also a lot of other connectors, but they only go one place. So when you take them out, you need to mark them one by one to ensure. And this is basically how the dashboard connects. There is one bolt there, one bolt there, and you basically tighten up with the nuts. And that's basically it on this side. There's another blend door here, as you can see. You got to make sure that they do open and actuate properly. There's nothing, and the axle of the blend door just sits there. So when this is sandwiched in, you got to make sure when you put them back together that they move freely. Otherwise, they will jam.